why do we leave to embody a physical, a material existence when we come from all that is, and we're in vibrational harmony with that on whatever level of existence that is. And
well, that's the key, isn't it? In other words, it's hard to, from your physical perspective, understand anything other than what is physical. We're going to offer some words here to try to help you to understand that everything that you see as physical reality is nothing more than vibration that is being interpreted into a physical reality. So there is really not much difference between non-physical and physical, because everything that we are in non-physical we can experience as you do in your physical format. It's just vibrational interpretation. Esther noticed as she visited with her father after he made his transition from his physical form back into non-physical form, his description of what he was doing and his life experience let Esther understand that he was still interpreting his life through the format that she understands here in the physical form. In other words, he was joyful and he was having lovely experiences, but he was describing places, not non-places. He was describing people and faces, not energy. He was describing things in a similar way that he would have been describing him if he had been sitting across the room from Esther. And it made Esther realize that wherever you are having an experience that must be understood through some framework. And whatever framework it is you are understanding it through is the reality that you are living. So in our effort to help you to understand the differences between the physical life that you live, which you understand pretty well, and the non-physical part of you, it's very difficult to even make that distinction without causing some sort of separation or distortion in your minds.
Do you have laws, do you have like spiritual laws at that level that are like our laws here of manifestation and allowing, and also like our physical laws of whatever, gravity, thermodynamics? I mean,
well, there are definitely vibrational universal laws, not gravity in the sense that we are on a sphere as you are, but certainly the universal laws such as law of attraction. But most of what you mean as laws are means to control one another, and most laws are orchestrated or written from the perspective of disconnection, from the non-physical point of view that we hold, where we know our power and we understand not only our own power but the power of everyone else. There is no desire or attempt at controlling one another. We trust law of attraction to do all of that.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a sense of your plane.
Well, the best way to get a sense of what it's like for us is to get joyful and let us flow through you. That really is what we're trying to say to you. We are not separate from you unless you're an ornery toad. In other words, in your orneriness, you separate yourself from us, but we are not separate from you. In your unhappiness, you separate yourself from us, but we are not separate from you. And so everything that you would consider to be the best of life, we're right there. Yeah, everything is perceptual. There is no reality other than that which is perceptual. That is the most powerful thing that we want you to hear. We're looking at you to make sure you write that down. I did. There is no reality other than what is perceived. And the reality that is perceived has to be tinged, if you will, by the perceiver that is perceiving them. And so the non-physical part of you is a joyful, expansive, open, free-flying, loving, knowing, secure, understanding own worthiness being. And when you're looking through those eyes, it's a bright, beautiful world. When you look through the eyes of inferiority, you see a different world. When you look through the eyes of powerlessness or loss of freedom, you see a very different world. But all of that is self-imposed as human looks. Jerry and Esther are at a park with their monster bus. And Jerry pointed out to Esther that there was a very large, very lovely cat on a leash. And as soon as Esther realized it was on a leash, she said, "Oh, I think in the night I will set it free." And Jerry said, "It's probably not out there in the night for you to set it free." And then Esther thought about how she would feel if she had a very lovely cat that she was trying to keep in her own life and someone set it free. And of course she was not really planning on setting it free, but she just longed for it to be set free. And then she watched the cat, and the cat was really not yanking at the end of its chain as Esther would have if she were the cat chained. The cat seemed to understand its limits and would run very, very fast, almost to the end of its chain, and then it would stop and look around as if to say to Esther and Jerry, "I know how long this rope is." And we want to say to Esther that the cat certainly has the potential of making itself miserable at the end of this chain, but it is not making itself miserable. In other words, Esther is superimposing how she would feel if she were on a leash over how the cat feels. And the cat feels differently on the leash than Esther would feel on the leash. It's just not possible to step into someone else's perspective and understand it. And that's the trouble with trying to understand what is non-physical through your physical eyes. There just aren't enough words. And it seems that every word we offer conjures some sort of picture that causes human to make an even greater distortion of their understanding than was there before.
I get that. Yeah.
So try to feel what your inner being feels like. That is the truest sense of what non-physical is like. Non-physical is clearly an experience, and it is absolutely a feeling. And it feels like expansion and freedom and love and joy. And it is an extremely interesting experience. But you cannot accurately, and here is the answer to the question that we know you are asking, you cannot accurately define what it's like to be non-physical unless you are including the physical in the explanation. Because we see through your eyes, we smell through your nose, we experience through you. You are the leading edge of that which we are, you see.
How does the manifestation and creation of all of, what you could call small wants, like material this and that, or a bigger material this and that, how is that leading edge? How does that advance all that is by us attaining these small things on a material level?
Well, first we would say that we do not see anything as small, because everything...
I knew you'd say that.
We knew you knew. Everything is incremental. Everything is. Everything is incremental. Nothing is other than incremental, because everything is moving from the point that it is, and nothing can move from a point that it isn't. So everything is incremental. Small things, the material things, are not the main event. It is the exposure to experience and the subsequent improvement in experience. The things are just the staging or the enhancement of the experience, and they are representative of the vibration. But it is the experience that life is really all about.